And we wrote things. That's
together.
yeah.
How did you meet? Wonderful stuff.
How did we meet? We used to work. I used to be Nat's boss, shockingly.
That's right.
I don't think I ever told her what to do, and she often told me what to do in a restaurant in Mayfair. She's not even disagreeing.
And she's not disagreeing. Okay.
No,
okay. Who's next? Let's go with our lovely cast. Whoever wants to start. Alex, Alexandra, Kate. Want to introduce yourselves?
Everyone is so silent.
yeah.
Start, Alexandra.
Yeah, so I'm Alexandra. I'm here thanks to Eric, which I met in Paris through a common friend. And he told me about this project. And then I met everyone else, like pretty much preparing already. And I read the script that I found really, really funny. So I thought that was a good thing to keep myself busy while in lockdown. And and I live in Paris, and I'm Polish, from Polish origin. But I've been living in France for many, many years and working mostly here.
Alex?
Hi, I'm Alex. I play Jeremy. I was introduced to the project and reframed through Mia Mackey, who I've known for many, many years. We did a small play in Edinburgh together years ago and got very, very drunk many times, and have stayed in touch ever since. But she mentioned that you guys were looking for a guy, and Natalie and I emailed a little bit, and then we all had a little chat, and then here we are, having made a series of short films.
Okay, Kate.
Yes, so my name's Kate, and I play the character of Kim. I got introduced to the project through Sarah because her and I did a show together called Pass It On, where lots of women write monologues and then women direct it, and you kind of get thrown together. And I was in Sarah's piece called When I Was a Witch, which was an amazing adaptation that she wrote. Amazing writer. And I remember just like sitting her down in the pub and like, anything, please, I will be involved. And then she put me in touch with Nat, and then we had like we discovered that I'm really bad at filming and technology, so it took us quite a long time. Like mostly in the end, I couldn't even work Alexandra. In the end, it just had to be Nat just refilming. But I loved it, and I had such a good time, but I'm so bad at it. And it was amazing, and it was so nice to be a part of this project, and I thought it was all really hilarious. I just feel really sorry for Nat.
I had a great time.
I
really enjoyed getting all those rushes and realizing that they were all mute. That was fun. That was probably the highlight of the filming experience.
Terrible. I was awful. I'm not generally. And we just film another scene, and I'll be like, oh, I don't have any lines, do I? And she's like, yeah, you do. I learned a lot.
It was a nice casual environment. You know, we're all working from home. So I think you know, we were all learning. It was good. And we got there in the end. You set up that shot, it worked for me, and then we just reshot all of the other scenes. It's perfect.
Okay, I was so lucky because I'd heard that story on the day that we shot, and then I only discovered after we'd finished shooting the entire day that the very first shot I'd done was completely out of focus. So like the essential shot. So don't worry, it happens to us all.
No, it couldn't have been as bad as me. It was still...
Technology is not everyone's friends.
It's not, and you know what? I have such a newfound appreciation for people who work behind the camera.
Yeah. I think that's definitely a lesson we've all learned about how important crew are. You know, they think that we're going to go away and we're going to shoot all this stuff on our own and be like, we don't need them anymore. What actually happens is we go, oh my God, we need them, like now.
Yeah.
You need
about the nicest thing you've said, Natalie.
You're welcome. I mean it.
I mean, Harash is a fellow sound person. I get you. I feel what you're feeling right now. So Miquan, please tell me in the chat if I'm saying that wrong. has said in chat that great job, everyone. Really fun. And yes, I've said your name right. That's even better. Because I always worry about that. So my question is, how different do you guys feel that filming this remotely without the crew from like when you're asked to do a self-tape? How different did that feel for you? Did it feel like a self-tape or did it feel slightly different? And for those that don't know what a self-tape is, it's something that a casting director will ask for of an actor to find out if they're able to be casted in a specific role.
Back to you guys.
Anyone?
I mean, I was there for a start.
Yeah.
Because you had your phone and the setup, but then obviously normally it's just you, hopefully talking to someone, most of the time talking to yourself, but you had like a friendly face on the side, which was much nicer. It's not quite, I don't know. It was very different. It was very different.
So you could actually have someone on the screen with you. I had someone on the floor really far.
Yeah, well, no, it was my laptop, like, over. I could still hear her, you know, it wasn't just me just speaking to a wall.
Definitely different from a self-tape. I have a spot that I like to self-tape on because the light's good and the wall's blank and it looks great, but shooting in my bedroom and dealing with it like it isn't yours and like it's somebody else's, that's a very strange headspace to be in. You're like, I know these sheets, I recognize, oh, this is not my world. That's a bit weird. But yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, I turned up at work completely on time, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. It was also, normally you're speaking to someone, we have a self-tape, you got to direct it at someone, but because it was all done through a phone, it was like, it was really weird to not have a eye line, you're kind of just speaking. Yeah, that was very new, I thought, as well.
Yeah, Alex and I, we actually talked over FaceTime live doing the shots, which I only noticed on the rushes how loud the earpiece must have been because I could hear the pickup of your audio over the recording as well. So thanks, Haresh, for your incredible work on all the audio levels. Like, I don't know how you coped with all that.
Press the button. It was Matt that did everything else.
Very cool.
Okay, the next question we got is from Katrina, and she's asked, how did you film? What sort of camera did you use?
A variety of phones.
Yeah, but we actually had a chat about that before when we talked about pre-production to make sure that everyone was filming with the same thing. And so yeah, we tried to plan that. It wasn't just like grab your phone, do whatever you want. We did talk about the settings and everything. But
no, nothing. Yeah, it was.
We did.
And it's very professional. No,
maybe
yeah,
you weren't listening when we were doing it, but actually we did say we're gonna try to do 1080p, everyone the same resolution, and use an iPhone or something similar.
Yeah, and we set the frame rates and everything, and we made everybody download Filmic Pro because we thought that would be easier. But that comes with its own set of problems because it works differently for different phones, and so it presents differently on different phones as well. So that was fun. Yeah, it was tricky. It was just tricky.
Katrina said that it worked. The shots matched well. So, and I felt that as well as a viewer. Obviously, you know, and I do think you did an amazing job, Haresh. Like, obviously, different people have different settings for like sound on their, you know, their phones, and just the time that you must have spent to edit that to get it to where it was all kind of mixed and good, intelligible is the word I was looking for. You know, it is just a testament that you do need sound, and I'm not just saying that because I like we have the same ideas about what sound is.
I think it's definitely something that people forget about early on when you start working on kind of short films or no budget, any kind of no budget project. People are always really particular about shots, but the sound always gets forgotten a little bit until you get to the rushes and you realize you can't use anything because the sound's so bad, and then you realize how important sound is. and then,
Yeah,
and then from then
definitely.
on. But I think you have to have that. You definitely have to have that turning point. I work with a lot of, and throughout my career, different people who work differently and at different levels in their different stages in their career. And yeah, very early on, sound gets forgotten, and then people realize how important it is, and it gets less forgotten, hopefully.
It's definitely, yeah, totally. It's one of those things that it's really hard to pay attention to on set, because you've got 100 people running around, you've got picture monitors radiating their information out to a bunch of people in one go. Whereas with sound, it's the opposite way round. The microphones collect sound and they inject it into one or two people, and that's it. And everybody else hears what they hear acoustically, but microphones are stupid. I always say that microphones are stupid, and they just convert sound into sound waves, digital waves, and you have to do the forward planning of what it's supposed to sound like for the audience. And it's hard to advocate that kind of thing. But if there's any acting involved, sound is the bridge between the actor and the audience. It's the first bridge between the actor and the audience, I feel.
You're not wrong in that, because sound is meant, and I think often with sound, if you've done your job well, it goes unnoticed, because that's just how it's supposed to sound, and people don't necessarily understand that to get it like that, you can spend hundreds of hours in the editing suite to get it to sound like that. And I think same with like a DOP or anything, like the time that they take away from set to get stuff sorted kind of gets forgotten, because at the end result looks so effortless.
Yeah. I think we were very, especially at the beginning and when we were talking about it and before we started recording everybody, and it was kind of the reason why everything felt so static maybe while we were shooting, is because we were really conscious of sound and everything, like nothing overlapping, which, I mean, there was a delay already because we were like Skyping, we were all on Skype, and then there were a couple of scenes where people were on actual phones together. I think Alex and Alexandra, you were on your phone together. I was muted, but I was on Skype and I could hear everything, but you guys had to mute me so that, and mute yourselves so I couldn't hear you, but also so it wasn't picked up on the recording and I wasn't hurt. There was all sorts of things, and we had to kind of think about it, but it also made, obviously you have to wait a second before you speak, and you can't cut off somebody when that would feel natural. So I feel like, I think the acting for Alex and Kate, just it was tricky with all the kind of waiting. You couldn't get that kind of flow as you would like if you were in a room together and you were on set together and everything was just kind of flowing and overlapping, and then you just work the rest of the stuff out later. We were very kind of particular about, you can't speak over each other, so just wait, even if it doesn't feel natural, and then we'll make it feel natural in the edit. I think that was it was tricky, but I think we made it work, and like it worked because we because it was tricky while we were filming. You know what I mean?
So I have a question for you, Natalie and Sarah. What made you come up with this idea to write these series?
Well.
So it started. So I was on a Skype with the Reframed Collective about a completely different project, and somehow I just didn't leave the chat, and then they started talking about ideas for filming while we're in lockdown, and we kind of talked about a few ideas, and I mentioned that I'd been on a house party call with a friend of mine, and he was like, I don't know when I'm going to have sex again. And I was like, yeah, it's tricky, very tricky. And so we started talking about a strand called Lockdown and Dating. And then I spoke to Sarah, and Sarah had already written this monologue for a friend of hers, which was all about messaging with somebody across the way and it not going well. And so which I loved, I was like, we should use that. So we took pieces of that. Well, I basically said, help, I've just agreed to write 13 episodes of a web series, which is 3 different strands. Can you give me the words, some more words? I need some more to add to my words. And she said yes. And I said, so I handed over Lockdown and Dating to her, and she just took it and ran with it, and that got our first draft, basically. Sorry.
But I have to say that when we had that meeting, we just told you about like one little tiny.
Oh, it's my fault. Okay. All right.
And we started to talk about, okay, let's do like one of the stories and everything. And you were like, oh, how about that? And how about that? And how about that? And then we said, okay, do you want to write it? Or maybe we can find a director. You don't have to. Well, actually, I want to direct it.
Oh, okay. So we definitely saw that conversation differently.
I'm so glad we had that conversation.
To be fair, there were already like 6 actors on the call, and there was only one idea that we started talking about. It was like, we're going to need some more to include these other people. But you're right. To be fair, this one was completely new. To be actually like, when we were talking about it, I think I had Sarah's monologue in my head, and I was like, I'm going to ask her. She'll say yes.
Yeah, you did, because you mentioned it.
Yeah.
You actually mentioned it.
You stole my monologue, basically.
No, she didn't explain the monologue, but I was talking about, we started talking about, long distance relationships and stuff. And so that's when Natalie said, oh, how about this and that? And she said, oh, there's something. Okay, I know who I'm going to ask and everything. She didn't say about your monologue.
I remember when Nat rang me about it and was like, so I'm just chatting to this little group. We're just, throwing some ideas out. And then I think me and Nat spent probably like 3 hours on the phone, and we were like, we've got like 3 or, I think we even had more, and we had to cut it back. I had 3 or 4 stories. And then as we were writing it, I was trying to get it bigger and bigger. And Nat was like, no, smaller. I was like, we could do this and we can have more scenes and they could all be related. And Nat was like, no one wants to do that. No one's got time for that. So we had to go, we went backwards and forwards a bit on that.
Yeah, there was definitely, I think after we'd done a couple of drafts, I was definitely looking at it with the director's head on, and also just, remembering that every actor was shooting their own stuff, and at whatever level of knowledge with kind of framing and everything, and we had quite a few visual jokes that would only work if we had like more intricate shots, and just it just started, it got very big, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know how I'm going to direct this over Skype.
Also, I think on our first drafts as well, obviously Nat, when Nat knows a lot of the reframe guys, it was based on the actor name, and I think at one point we were working on a script with 3 Alexes in, and I was like, I can't cope with this. I don't know who's who now.
It was Alex, Alexander, Alexandra, and Kate. That was tricky.
And then
I think we did a read through, didn't we? I think we did a read through with the reframe before we got everybody, before we'd even sent it to you. But they were like, I've got this idea. I've got a person that might be good for this. And it just in the read through we're like, okay, so let's give them character names immediately, so that we can differentiate everybody. But so that's kind of how it happened. And then obviously I think also the fact that we were filming in such a kind of lo-fi way without a kind of a massive crew watching you the whole time waiting, I think there was a bit more time on set to rehearse and change things as we were going, and adapt lines if they weren't working, or and I think I just feel like we could have a bit more fun with it and play around with it and see what was working in a different way to when you're on set and everybody's watching, and time is money, and we need to keep moving. I think there was a bit more flexibility. I don't know how you guys felt about that.
Yeah, Natalie, it makes me think of something. It was almost a bit like on stage, on theater, because then you have time for rehearsal and you can change things and you can look for things together. I think that obviously you'd have less time on set, like truly with the whole crew around, as you said. Yeah,
Definitely.
So there's a mix of different feelings.
Yeah. And also, and we did it quite quickly. Like, we wrote the scripts quite quickly, and so when it got to filming, sometimes it was the first time I'd heard it out loud as well. I was like, oh, that line's awful.
I think we had a first chat about them, and then by the end of a week, we kind of don't know where they just appeared, and we were like, how did that happen? Like, that's really weird.
Oh, we've got 45 pages here.
Yeah, like we had 45-page script. Like, what on earth? And then Nat had to work with it, and that was probably the heart of it.
Alex, you want to say something?
Just about the direction. Like, I felt like also you as a director were not distracted really, other than cats and noisy computer fans. I feel like that was what we were dealing with on the day. But we had so much time really to like get detail and to work on specific moments of specific beats and lines. Like, definitely theatre based, but also like theatre week 3. When this is like maybe the 3rd minute we've been working on this particular project, and it was both fast and detailed and relaxed in equal measure, and it made for a really good process, I think.
Cool. Does anyone have any other questions, or do you have questions for each other? Because have you guys actually been able to, since the lockdown in the UK has kind of lifted a little bit, have you guys been able to meet up for any plans for that?
I can't.
We haven't. So this is kind of our rap party, and you know.
Okay.
I actually don't even know if you guys like what we ended up.
Well, you know that I like it.
No, I know that you don't. No, actually, we've messaged. Actually, Alexandra, we haven't messaged. Have we?
No, because Alexandra was on holiday. No?
You've been away, yes, with the...
Yeah, I was away for a while, and there was no good Wi-Fi over there.
Yeah.
That's a problem to keep in touch, yeah.
But
no. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry to interrupt. I have to go. Dinner's ready.
Okay. No, we
and
should all
it's
go.
getting slightly late here. I'll stay longer next time, I promise, but this time I have to go.
No problem. Enjoy your dinner.
Thank you. It was really nice to see you all.
Bon appétit.
Merci beaucoup. See you later. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Ooh. That was felt like a weird...
I think she didn't leave.
Fade to black moment there.
I think you're gonna have to push her out.
Oh no, she's gone now. She's kicked out. She's out of my list. So Miquan has asked what's next. So we've got the lockdown and dating. That's done. What is the next series? I believe, if my little handwritten schedule is lockdown and divorced.
Yes. So there's still 2 more strands to go. So Lockdown and Divorced and Lockdown and Desperate, which was Lockdown and Lonely until I spoke to Alex. He was like, why don't they all end in D? I was like,
oh yes,
that's a good question. I will
Clever boy.
I will change it. So it was Lockdown and Lonely, but now it's Lockdown and Desperate. But yeah, so Lockdown and Divorced is a couple that are forced to kind of stay together during lockdown, even though they had plans to finally move out of their house now that they have divorced. So that's the next one, another 4 episodes. And then after that, Lockdown and Desperate, which stars Eric and Melissa, who are here. And Alex, did he go?
Alex had to go. He's at a friend's house for dinner. He said he'll see you next.
Okay. So yeah, so Lockdown and Divorced is with Elroy. Wait, Elroy's gone as well. I don't know.
He's
still
connected, but it doesn't have his camera on.
Still eating.
Okay, so Elroy and Mia are in that one. So that's going to start on Monday. Yes, and then I'm actually still finishing Lockdown and Desperate, so get my shit together there and so make sure that's ready to launch it.
Any little teaser about what to expect in episode 1 for Lockdown and Divorce?
Yes, we have a teaser. I will plug it again on the.
I can try to find it and paste it here.
Yes. Yeah.
Try
It's
to.
it's from the very first episode.
Or you can, if you are following us on Instagram, there is a link in bio to our YouTube, and Instagram is at Reframed Collective. Facebook, we've got 2 pages. We've got Reframed Collective's main page, and then a brand new page for the Lockdown and series. So feel free to like and follow both of those pages, because we'll be posting to both of those. I wouldn't be doing my social media job if I didn't plug the and I also have to thank Sarah for bringing me into this, because she did the the wonderful classic Sarah thing of message and being like, hey, so I got this project.
Hey guys, come on.
Right?
If you don't have time, that's fine. Let's have a chat. And then because she's such a dream to work with,
Just reels you in.
it just kind of reels you in, and then you guys have been obviously a dream to work with. Alex doing the Instagram takeover yesterday. We need more Baby Yoda in our life, to be fair, Alex.
Absolutely.
And, in America's Ass, we definitely need that as well. And Alexandra taking over the Instagram stories today. Do we know who's taking over the Instagrams next week? I know Eric is taking over one day.
The week after.
The week after. Sorry. Yep. Wrong.
Oh, I mean, maybe towards the end of the week or something. But...
No, it's the week after. I've got my lockdowns and stuff. 2 hours of sleep, people. So who is taking over?
I don't know. Maybe Natalie.
On the spot.
Not me.
Just see her face.
I don't know how to do an Insta story. I only
neither.
just found out how to message people, and I still had to check with Alex. I was like, on WhatsApp, I was like, I think I sent you something on the Insta story, but I might not have done, because I'm not sure how it works, but I think I did. But like, you're nailing it.
So your friend Katrina.
It's good. It's good. Cat pictures are good.
There you.
That's a very good friend.
So you'll love that.
How much truth?
You know her really well.
How much truth is in that? Would they mostly be cat pictures, and how they relate to lockdown and divorce?
I think they relate. I mean,
Who's going to take the cat?
Actually, Mia and Elroy both have black cats in their households, so we were going to try and get them into the shots in Lockdown and Divorced, because they're supposed to be in the same house, and obviously they're not in the same house because we filmed it during lockdown. But black cats aren't very good actors. They don't really do what they're told. So we decided against it in the end, just for continuity kind of thing.
Okay, fair enough.
But my cats aren't going to be in anything ever, because they're the worst.
I did have to laugh at everybody's faces that I could see from the crew when I said, well, who's next? Because you all kind of did the deer in headlights. So I'll be in touch. We'll sort it out, because
Melissa hasn't chosen a day yet.
No, I'm not brilliant with technology, but I could give
Come
it
on,
a
I'm not either.
I'll give it to
That would be marvellous. Nat will vouch for me that I'm terrible with technology.
Don't do it.
Yeah, no, we'll get someone. We'll get someone on board. There's other people that are involved in the process that aren't.
Melissa, I can see Melissa going on doing a live thing and forgetting about the phone and being on live all day.
I mean, to be fair, Instagram does have a feature that if you are live and they don't see anything happening for a good 15 minutes, they do take you off live. So
you're fine then.
There is that feature.
In the chat.
This is where I hide. Elle, you're gonna have to explain that to me. But yeah, so this is where I hide because you don't want to do it. Okay, sorry, penny dropped. So if anyone doesn't have any other questions for the guys involved or even with each other, I think we'll wrap it up here. And the thing to remember is go to the YouTube, subscribe, because you get a handy notification in your inbox saying an episode is dropped, so you'll never miss one.
And press the bell. Subscribe and press the bell.
Press the bell. Go to our Facebook pages. join the watch party for the next week, because we'll have another watch party and another Q&A. And like, follow, share, all of the stuff, all of the socials everywhere, because yeah, it deserves to be seen.
We have, hold on, I can put a link here to subscribe.
Yeah, so
That's
Eric,
it, it's in the chat.
yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
It's in the chat if you want to click it now, or if you want to just go check out our socials before you see what we put in your timeline, because I know that's a thing for some people. Go ahead and head over to Instagram. We're at Reframe Collective on Facebook, and Lockdown and Web Series, or is it just Lockdown? Yeah, Lockdown and Web Series on Facebook as well.
Yeah, LDD Web Series.
Cool. So I'm going to go and start scheduling posts for next week.
Yes.
Cool.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Well done.
Good evening. Thank you.
All I can apologize, but I love